Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with another layout. This one is for the Hip Kit Club. I'm using the 2017 July kits again, and I've got a bunch of things pulled out here that I'm going to go through. My theme for today is pick a color, and I picked blue because there's a lot of pretty blue shades in the kits this month, but green sort of works its way in, and so I technically picked two colors. So I'm going to go through everything. I chose lots of things with blue, basically any shade of blue that I thought I might or might not use. I just put it all in a pile and I'm going to start to go with it. Now I've already done a little bit of silhouette cameo work here, and here's the picture that I'm going to use. It's actually from several years ago. My oldest daughter had just lost her two front teeth and she was playing around on the patio, and I was chasing her around trying to get pictures, and I love the blue sky and the palm trees behind her. And I'm going to use this cut file again. I just used it last week. It's that beautiful tropical hibiscus flower with the leaves that Kim Watson designed. Last week I painted it. This week I'm going to leave it white. Now I'm going to start with this paper. I've been wanting to use it and just wasn't quite sure what to do with it. It is the Amy Tangerine on a Whim paper that's in the main kit and the paper kit, and I just kind of tore a big chunk of it off, and I'm going to use that as my starting point. And I just play around with it for a few minutes trying to decide, do I want it vertically? Do I want it horizontally? I wasn't sure. And I was trying to determine where I wanted my picture, because even though she's leaning to the right, she's looking back toward the left. And so I thought, where do I want to put this? Because I always like to position my pictures to where it looks like the person is looking across the page or looking down or looking up. So I'm going to kind of put it in the middle. So she's kind of looking one way, but she's leaning another way. She was creeping around the patio and just being cute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I pulled out, these are the Vicki Boutin acrylic paints that we got last month in the color kit, and I'm mixing the lighter blue and the darker blue together. Excuse me. And I'm just using a palette knife to smudge it down onto the white cardstock here. And I have not prepped this paper with any gesso or anything like that. I'm just going to town making a mess. And it took me a while to get this how I liked it. It wasn't turning out exactly like I'd hoped. The colors just did not go very well. And so I take some white acrylic paint and go right over it and try to save what I don't use because I don't want to waste it. It's kind of hard to cram it back in that little opening there, but I made it work. Okay, so now it's a lot lighter, but I kind of like how that looks. You can see the hint of blue, but it's very subtle. So I decided to come in over that with a couple of shimmers sprays, and these are just some shimmers from my stash. I'm trying to not make it match perfectly, but trying to make it to where I think it complements that pattern paper. And that color just made it too green. So I'm going to go back over it with white. I actually use quite a bit of layers of paint here, but I finally do get it like I want it. I thought about chunking this in the trash and just starting over, but then I thought, no, make it work. You always stick with it and make it work. And I did. And I like how this looks. And it looks totally different when I start adding things on top of it. Now these are the Prima watercolor confections that we got in the May color kit, and I'm just adding touches of more of a darker blue on top of it just to give it a little bit more shading. And watercolors react differently on acrylic paint versus gesso, but you can still see a little bit of that color there. So I like how that looks, and I'm going to glue down this pattern paper because I know that that's where I want it. And I'm just going to start to build the page from here. So I decided that I needed some more of these beautiful flowers. These are from that Dear Lizzie paper. And I'm going to paint these different shades of blue because this layout is going to be mostly different colors of blue. And so I'm just going to take a couple minutes here and color them with the watercolors here from Prima. And just try to get some lights and some darks. And the design of these flowers make it pretty easy to do that. It's just basically paint in the lines, you know, and put one color here, and just keep playing with it, and you'll get some lights and darks. They make it really, I think, make it really easy to color these in. And I'm trying to use up as many as I can on this paper before I cut into the next one, because I have another sheet of this and I'm probably going to hoard it, because once I use it, it's going to be gone. I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've got 2 flowers and 2 leaves done. I'm going to fussy cut those out and try to figure out where to put them. And I love how they pull from the color of the paper up top. So I tried to match that. I pulled out all of the embellishments that match, and most of these, well, some of them are from that Hey Hey piece. That's from the Amy Tan collection, so it matches the paper. I'm going to back my picture with one of the Project Life cards, and it's a very soft light blue. And I don't wind up using everything that I pulled out, but I do use quite a bit of it. Now, I do use some of these clear stickers, and that is also from On a Whim. And the clear stickers, I want to make sure that they stay true to their color. And so I'm not just going to stick them directly onto the paper. I want to be able to move them around and create a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to stick them onto some, I think that's the back of packaging of something from one of the kits. And I'm going to stick them on there. It's a smooth white background. And then I'm just going to cut them out. And so it's a quick and easy way to make embellishments with stickers when you don't know where you want to put them and you don't want to stick them directly onto your background. And since they had the white background, they're going to stay their true color. So now I'm just going to play around with everything. I want to use that palm tree because there's palm trees in the picture. And I do wind up using the other one. There were 2 palm trees in that sticker book. And I'm going to go back and use the other one here shortly. I haven't glued anything down yet. I'm still just kind of moving things around. I am going to add in some coordinating colors of thread. I've got a couple different shades of blue and some green. I'm going to add some foam behind my picture and then just sort of start to put things together like a puzzle and just decide where I want to stick it. And I still have to reload my big tape gun, so I'm using my smaller tape here until I remember to actually put more tape in it. So what's going to wind up happening is I'm going to work on adding layers behind the picture, and then I'm going to create this second little cluster down here at the bottom. And so it's going to kind of go from a big horizontal design up at the top into a smaller cluster down at the bottom. And just a different design, and you know, it was fun to challenge myself to use, you know, just a couple of colors. I'm going to cut this little camera out from the Project Life card that says "Oh Snap." And again, I'm mainly picking things that are blue. I have to use that little pineapple. It's the perfect mix of blue and green. I'm going to use this little epoxy. It's like a little paper clip sticker. And I'm going to just use it as a layer behind the picture. Now I do a lot of fussy cutting here. I wanted to use bits and pieces from this paper as my title just because it's different, lots of different colors, and I kind of wind up mixing and matching. I'm going to fussy cut out "You Are." I was going to fussy cut out "You Are Pretty Great," but I decided to just use "You Are," and then I'm going to kind of mix and match for the rest of the title. And I like those palm trees. I didn't think at first that I would use those, but I love how they look on this particular layout. They match. I have palm trees in the background, and so I had to use those pretty much because they just matched. So I went back to that paper with all the words on it, and I'm going to cut out a couple more things. I thought I was going to use "You Are Seriously the Best," and I thought, well, it's kind of small. I need something right there in the middle. So I'm going to change that. And I did use the other palm tree. You can see I tucked it in there. And then I decided to bring in some gold. So I saw these gold leaves, gold flowers, gold hearts in this sticker book, and I thought, you know, I need to use those. So that's what I'm going to do. And they're very subtle hints. The majority of this layout is still blue. And this little gold piece says, "Can't stop the feeling." And I love that you can just cut it and stick it down, and all you see is the color. I love those clear stickers like that. I think they're the perfect little subtle detail, especially when they're gold like that. And it's more of a, it's a shiny gold, but it's more of a matte finish. It's really, really pretty. So I'm going to glue down "You Are," and then I'm going to come back again and cut out "Straight Up." And then I'm going to come in with these awesome, delicious blue and just use the word "cute." I wanted something short to go in that area. I didn't want a big long word because I thought about using awesome or beautiful, adorable, but I was like, oh, it's going to be too long. And so my title is going to be "You Are Straight Up Cute," and I think it works great. I'm going to wind up stitching through the word "cute" after I move it around and get it to where I want it. And it's fun to mix and match titles and fonts and things like that, especially when you get these awesome alphas. They're puffy, they're blue, they're beautiful. I'm going to cut that piece that's hanging off the bottom, and that's where I'm going to write my journaling. It's the perfect spot, so I'm just going to write in a couple of thoughts down there in that little open spot. And then I did a little bit of stitching. I used blue thread and I stitched on the center of those palm leaves and a little bit down there in the cluster. And then one of the final things I'm going to do is add in some gold splatters, and that's going to wrap it up. I love how this turned out. It's totally different. I love the color scheme. I love the picture. It was fun to kind of limit myself to only use things of a certain color. It made it a little bit easier because, you know, these kits are gorgeous and there's so much to choose from. So if you pick a theme and limit yourself, it does make it a little bit easier and you're not so overwhelmed with all the things. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to put together. Totally different for me. I love how it turned out. Let me know if you have any questions about the kits, the techniques, anything at all. I'll be more than happy to answer. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.